Hello everyone. Welcome to your very first video of Algebra 3. We are on section 2.1, which is Introduction of Functions. So our first slide is objective number 1. We are going to find the domain and range of a relation. First of all, what is a relation? The definition of a relation. A relation is a set of all ordered pairs. The first component in your ordered pair is called your domain, and the second component of your ordered pair is called your range. So the domain is all the x values, and your range is all y values that work for that relation. So number 1, find the domain and range of the relation. So when you have a set of ordered pairs, all you have to do is list your values. And if you have repeating, you do not need to write them twice. So our domain will be 0, 10, 20, 30, and 38. Your range would be all your second numbers, 9.1, 6.7, 10.7, 13.2, and 19.6. Easy, easy, easy. All right, so to determine if a relation is a function, and we did talk about this very briefly when we were doing our bingo game the other day. So a function, each x corresponds to exactly one y in a function. However, a y value may mate with more than one x. So what I like to say is x cannot repeat. That is a very general idea. This is the fancy way. X, what they said first is the fancy. And if you understand this concept right here, you will understand if it's a function or not. So look at this example of the ordered pair, the relation. So for example, the following relation is a function. So let's look at our x's. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, x values do not repeat. All right, so let's see. So none of these x values repeat. So this problem here is a function. But let's look at these y values. If you notice, the y values happen more than once. Those 3's repeat, but we do not care about y values. So we only care about x's. All right, so determine whether this function is, this relation is a function. So look at your domain, which is your x values, the numbers in the pink. So do you see more than one of those values going to a different range? So 1 goes to flute, 2 goes to the drums, 3 goes to guitars, and 4 also goes to the drums. So just because 4 and 2 go to drums does not cause us not to be a function. So the domain, all the values go to, each value goes to a y, to a different y. So none of the x values repeat. So this is a function. Look at the next one. So the next one, we have the values in pink are your domain, and your range is in orange. So 3 goes to a certain y, 8 goes to a certain y, 5 goes to nothing, which is fine, but look at 9. 9 goes to ants and moths. So this one's not a function because 9 goes to 2 different y values. All right, so this example, you're going to pause, you're going to do these 3 examples, and come back when you are ready for the answers. All right, so number 1, 2, 4, 6, 9, so it is a function. Part B, 1, 3, 6, 1, this one's not a function because of number 1. 1, 4, 2, 3 is a function. All right, moving on. Okay, there's another example. I think we're okay with skipping that one. All right, so number 3, we're going to evaluate a function now. So objective number 3. Alright, so functions are usually given in terms of equations rather than a set of ordered pairs. So we are used to functions as y equals 2x minus 3. You can also have like x squared plus 5. Anything that's an equation usually is a function. For each value of x, there is only one value of y. The variable x is called your independent, and y is your dependent. So x is what we plug in, it is your input, and then y is your output. So I can control what I'm putting in for x, but I cannot control what comes out for y. So that's why it's independent and dependent. Alright, function notation. If an equation in x and y gives only one value of y, blah, 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 blah. Here's what's important right here. So f of x, this guy right here, is called f of x. I've never called it f at x, but it looks like maybe that's a different way of saying it. The notation f of x does not mean f times x. This is important. This is not f times x. Okay, so I will be calling it f of x. And all that means is a function of f with an independent variable of x. Alright, so this example here, f of 3 for the function f of x equals negative 4x cubed minus 2x plus 7. So all that is telling you to do is find the function when x equals 3. So we're going to find the value when x is 3. So we're going to take 3 and we're going to plug it in for x. So we have that. Now we're going to use our calculators and get the final answer. And you can plug this straight into your calculator, just how you see it. I hope that you put parentheses around your variable that you were plugging in, which is your 3. And I got f of 3 equals negative 107. Click the next one. Q of negative 4. So make z is our independent, negative 4. Alright, it's very important on this one, especially to put your parentheses because it's a negative and you have powers. So if you did it correctly, Q of negative 4 is 6192. If you did not do it correctly and you didn't put your parentheses around it, you would have got a different answer. Alright, you get that answer? I will check that one on Monday. And I will also check 3B on Monday. So on Monday I'm going to check 3A and 3B. Let's move on to 3D here. So find f of a plus h. So the rules don't change, but we're not going to end up with an answer. We're not going to end up with just a number. Okay, so x is our independent variable. So I'm going to take all of this, all the junk, I call this the junk that's in the parentheses, a plus h, and I'm going to replace it for x. So I have 6, open up your parentheses, put your junk in, a plus h, and then add 9. Okay, so now that you have the a plus h in for x, now you need to distribute. So 6a plus 6h plus 9. And that is what f of a plus h is. There's nothing you can combine, so we just leave it like that. Alright, so that's looking at an equation. Let's look at doing the same thing looking at a table. So remember the variable or the number that's in the parentheses is your independent variable. So just remind yourself this is the ID variable. So when x is 1, y is 0. So g of 1 equals 0. And last but not least, last one, 3f. So I will be checking 3a, 3b, and 3f on Monday to see how you did. All right. That's all for our first video. See you next time. Bye-bye.